Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you, as always, for your tweets. Who's here today? Frank, Robbo and Ian to answer your tweets. Hey, I want to start off. Personal news is my eldest son's 19th birthday today. So massive congratulations to him. We haven't seen each other for over a year, of course, because of COVID. I don't know if that's good for him or bad. But of course, personally missing him very much, as I'm sure a lot of people are missing their families because of these strange times. But we can be your own family, can't we? What a weird family it is, Frank.
Oh,
Robbo.
Say that again.
Yeah. Here we are, the loving bosom of Robbo to us all. Cristiano Ronaldo or Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Robbo. Who will have more goals in the league at the end of the season? At the moment, Zlatan on 8, Cristiano Ronaldo on 6.
Well, I think Juventus will get better. I've seen some improvement in their performances over the last couple of weeks or before the international games. Ronaldo's going to be the main player for them, so I think he will score more goals. I think probably Zlatan at some point will have an injury and he won't be able to play. Milan won't be top of the table come the end of the season. Ronaldo will score more goals than Zlatan come the end of the season.
Another Italian question for you, Robbo. Why is Italy so overlooked? They revamped the system under Mancini and haven't lost a game since 2018. They developed their youth completely and adapted to modern football and tactics.
I'd agree with some of that. They haven't developed great young players. They've never done particularly well at the under-17s, the under-20 World Cups. A lot of their players don't develop until they're that little bit older. But the side they've got at the moment under Mancini's got a good system. They know exactly what they're playing. If there's one weak point in their team, I'm not sure that either Immobile or Belotti is going to be the main striker that's going to win them the European Championship.
Ian, what is the single biggest change to the game you have seen since the beginning of your broadcasting career? When did you start? 1950 what, Ian?
Yeah, 1970s. I'll put it like that. Certainly not the commentary boxes. They're still in the Stone Age. We still have these outdoor facilities where our notes get blown around all over the place. I'd have to say, first of all, the standard of the pitches, they're fantastic now. They used to be mud heaps.
Yeah.
And secondly, goalkeepers. The goalkeepers, I think, of 20, 25 years ago, even, would really be absolutely horrified if they had to do what modern goalkeepers like Edison can do and play like sweepers and be, wonderful passers of the ball and controllers of the ball and sweepers and the rest of it. So, yeah, probably that.
Who would you prefer as a co-com? Ian, would you prefer Frank Leboeuf or Stuart Robson?
Oh, I think they'd both be brilliant. I've never worked with Frank as a co-commentator. Stuart many times, and of course, he's absolutely brilliant.
Robbo is, I say begrudgingly.
Maybe the 10 quid later.
He is one of the best. Frank, I haven't heard you do colour commentary. Is that something that you've done or want to do?
I did it for ESPN a couple of times when I was in Bristol, but in the cabin. I did it for France in 2006 for the World Cup in Germany, 2008 in the European Championship in South Africa, in 2010. I don't really like commentating. I don't like, analyzing or just saying, what a good pass, what a good thing or whatever. I'm more in the before the game, halftime, and after the game. Give me more time to really analyze what I see.
Robert, what do you hate from colour commentators? What do you listen to and you think, what are you doing? I'm the best at this, why aren't you doing that?
I would say talk too much. Commentators and co-commentators can only spoil football. They don't usually make it any better. Yeah. They can only spoil it by speaking too much.
Much like presenters. How good is Ferran Torres? Of course, a hat-trick yesterday. He was superb, wasn't he? Robbo?
Yes, he certainly was. I mean, he played on the right-hand side. I've seen him play on the left-hand side, but he just played high and wide. They knew they could have that out ball to him on the right-hand side. He made good decisions, when to cross it, when to run in behind the opponent. He played square and got in behind with the square 1-2. He picked out the right cross. I thought he was excellent. He showed good pace, good strength, and his decision-making and end product was just as good. So, yeah, very good performance from him.
It's not like he's a nobody. It's not like he's come out of nowhere. Manchester City paid a lot of money for him, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, £20 million or so it was. I think it's a snip. It was one of those transfers that almost went under the radar. People were talking about other moves in the summer, not about Ferran Torres, but I think he scored, I think I'm right in saying, in every Champions League game so far. Now he's got his first career hat-trick, and he looks big and strong and powerful, and he's a good finisher as well. And not only that, he's proved his adaptability. When Gabriel Jesus and Sergio Aguero have been injured, he played as the number 9 and did a good job there as well. So I think he's only going to get better as well under Pep Guardiola. They've got a player there.
Robbo, how far can Portugal go in the Euros next year?
I think they've got a very good side. When you look at their front players and the likes of Ronaldo, and they've got João Felix, Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva. Then they can bring on the player that's just gone to Liverpool. I can't think of his name at the moment, but he's doing very well.
Diego
They've got
Jota.
a midfield with 2 holding midfield. Diego Jota, that's the player, and they've got 2 midfield players that are really good holders in Pereira and Carvalho. I think they're a good side. The one weak point would be their centre halves. I'm not sure that Jose Font, who's played in the last couple of games, or Pepe are the strongest players they could possibly have.
They've got Ruben Diaz. Who's pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty good, but it's still, I wouldn't say he's one of the best defenders in the world at the moment. And one of the other 2 would be the weak link.
He's backtracking, Ian. He forgot about Ruben Diaz, didn't he?
I said, no, the 2 players alongside Ruben Diaz.
Frank, I know you like Portugal a lot.
Yeah, I do. I think they showed against France, even if I found that France was absolutely fantastic, they showed that they could compete. And since we watch all the games, the international games, and I saw only one team would be able to raise the level and stay at the same level as France was Portugal, really. And they did the job against yesterday, winning against Croatia. Which is, don't forget, the runner-up in the World Cup in 2018. And I really think that Portugal, according to the odds, is for me a contender, not according to the odds where they don't put him in the first, 6 or 7, which is a complete shame, because I think they're much better right now to many other countries.
Frank, how do you feel about the end of international football for 2020?
Relieved? Yeah, pretty much disappointed. But it's quite normal. Many players have been injured. And they don't go they don't go happily to international games because they know that they risk an injury when they have a Champions League coming up, when they have their own championship also coming up. And don't forget that players, they're paid by the clubs, and they don't want to come back injured and feel a bit guilty in a way because they got the injury during the international games. And those games are not very important at the end of the day. The League Nation is nice for the Final Four, but tonight, players played games for almost nothing, risk only an injury and nothing else. So. It's why we don't see many good games, because I think players don't put 100% in everything on those games, and it's why we don't see big games or good games.
Which of the 3 is likelier to make a comeback, Ian, from international football retirement? Zlatan, Thomas Muller, or David Silva?
Probably Zlatan of those, because he's got a very big ego, hasn't he? And
the coach would have to go
great,
first, though, wouldn't he?
I'd love to see somebody twist his arm. It'd be great to see him back.
I think he'd come back. I'm not sure whether or not the coach will have him back. Final question. Frank and Robbo. Let's start off with Frank. If there was one thing you could improve about your game back in the day, what would it be?
To be tougher as a defender, Robbo was one of them, and so many players that I've seen in England, they've been absolutely tremendous, fighting like real warriors. I was more trying to anticipate it and snip the ball to the guy, but not going for the fight, in fact, and try to get and be stronger. I would have loved to be physically stronger than I was to compete against players like Ferguson, and so many big strikers that I've had to face when I was playing in the Premier League. Yeah, stronger defensively.
Yeah, that's what Maradona said when he was speaking to us about you, Frank. He said he was quite weak-hearted.
I never played against Maradona. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, your anti-Maradona ways, Frank. Continue. What about you, Robbo?
There's only one thing that I would really like to have improved was my finishing. I struck the ball quite nicely. I made goalkeepers make good saves, but I didn't have that disguise. Or I was quite happy to get a new off the crowd and get a good save off the goalkeeper. I wasn't clinical in front of goal, and I had many chances, one-on-one or shots from the edge of the box, and didn't really make the most of it. As I said, I was quite happy to just pass it beyond the post or make the goalkeeper make a very good save. I'd run back to a standing ovation, but that wasn't really what I wanted.
Robbo, how many goals did you score in your career?
26.
That's not too bad.
But from midfield, most of the time I was playing midfield. So, and for the last year at Arsenal, I was playing as an attacking midfield player. So I should have scored more goals.
Yeah, you could have. Yeah.
Yes, there we go. The patronising, not too bad.
Very bad.
How many did you score, Frank?
I think 115, something like that.
Oh,
but I scored penalties. I scored like 50 penalties.
Yeah, I
was shooting free kicks before Zola came, and then you have to go away. Yeah, many goals. Yeah, I scored. But it's why I would have loved to be a good defender.
For a central defender is fantastic.
I know, it's much better than, say, 26 for a central midfielder.
You've got to remember, I was injured for about 5 years.
Yeah, that's true. And he gave up his career. He gave up his career early. I played for 17 years, and also, you have many other players. I think Hierro scored 138 goals. Laurent Blanc, even if he played a bit as a midfielder, scored 130 goals.
Yeah.
And Sergio Ramos is already over 120 goals.
Yeah.
So I'm only fourth, which is pretty bad.
Well, I don't know what's this list, Frank, that you're making up that you're fourth in?
Centre halves who score goals.
I don't know.
Defenders goal scoring.
Ian,
exactly.
Ian, final point on this, obviously not playing, but if you go back to one of your old commentaries, say one of your first ones, what would make you cringe about them, do you think?
Probably nearly all of them. I probably spoke too much. I probably used too many stats. I was too excitable, and to be honest with you, I still sometimes am.
Do you listen back at all with a critical ear?
I used to sometimes, but I don't now really, because it's just too time consuming, and in the end it can get quite depressing.
Oh, God. On that cheery note.
I'm only being honest. I mean, it's for other people to judge your work as a commentator. I think I don't like the idea of sitting there. It's like paralysis by analysis in the end.
What it tells you, Ian, that most people don't like listening to themselves or watching themselves do anything. I'm sure all three of us are like that. But Dan likes looking back at his presenting and sort of have a glow about it and praise himself. I think that's what it really tells us about Dan.
It's on a loop. That's why YouTube. That's why we get so many views. It's just me watching myself over and over again. Hey, thank you very much, boys. A pleasure as always. Thank you as always for your tweets. We'll be back tomorrow for more. Until then, goodbye. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.